All right, I'm sending this video out to Caroline. Thank you for emailing me and letting me know that a video was missing in one of my key techniques. And what you need to know is that, I created these courses mostly to help myself, and then secondly to help my clients. And so I've done all the production myself. I don't have a team, never had a team. So I apologize right up front for this belief change technique not having the final piece in it. And I've done it in so many different spots that I couldn't remember where I had already recorded it. So I want to just do a quick recap of the technique here and add it to the How to Get Over a Breakup course. And pretty much this works for any situation that you want to stop being stuck in. And the belief is insidious when we break up in a romantic relationship. The belief is insidious that, somehow I'll never find a better relationship, or I'll never get over this because it hurts so much. And I get that. I get the intensity of these unrequited love feelings. And as someone who has my last two significant relationships, one of them had many breakups and many getting back togethers. And one of them, the one I'm still in now, had a year-long separation, and then we got back together. So, and now it's windy. Now it's windy, and I don't have a wind muff on the mic. So hopefully it's gonna calm down. Anyway, I thought it'd be nice to do this by the river so that perhaps you could kind of shift your experience of this person. So, the belief change is essentially, and I have to remember to do everything reversed like I used to do. I haven't done these courses in a while. Come on, wind! Jesus! So I may have to do this again, but it's fall. The leaves are falling. Use that as a metaphor for your letting go. Letting go of the internal representation that this person is the one, or this person was someone who you can't get over. All right. So when we do the belief change, when I'm working with a client one-on-one, I'll say, so when you think of this old belief, the belief you don't want to be true anymore, the false belief, the old belief, do you have a picture? And essentially, people go, oh, yeah, the person is right here, or the belief is right here in the center of my mental movie screen. When you think of the person, do you have a picture? Boom, yeah. Ugh. For me, and I used this technique a lot when I was trying to get over my second marriage, and when I thought of her, boom, she was right there. So, okay, that's good to know. Is she life-size, larger than life? Is he life-size, larger than life? Is this person, when you think of them, where's the picture? Is it here? Okay. Usually if you're having trouble getting over somebody, or a belief that is true, like I am a smoker, and you want to be a non-smoker, or I am over this person, or I'm not over this person. I can do this. It's usually right here, right? And sometimes just by shrinking it down and pushing it away from you, or pushing it behind you, boom, that takes care of it. Other times you have to literally take this old pattern and transform it into an old belief. So we ask, okay, so what's the current belief that you want to get rid of? Quite often it's right here, boom. And I'll use myself as an example. Where's the old belief? So for me, I did this, feeling like I could never get over this woman. And when I thought of her, she was here. when I thought of somebody else who I'd gotten over. Like I thought of somebody in high school who I just had the deepest crush on and was heartbroken, blah, 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 high school. That was down and to my left. It's kind of to my left, and I'm doing this mirror here. It's down and small and to my left. So what I did was I took the image of my ex-wife and I shrank it down and put it over here. And that really helped. So think of the person that you want to get over. Notice where their picture is. And at the very least, shrink it down, move it. Like for me, it was lower left. And I've noticed that with a lot of clients, it's lower left. But somebody else, it might be behind. So take that picture, make it small, and toss it behind you. Push it way far in the distance, right? So give that a shot right now. Just notice where that person is when you think of them, or the belief that I can't get over them. Okay, it's usually here. See what happens if you shrink it down and drop it way down to your left. See how that feels? Okay, now try it again. Picture. Now throw it behind you. Tiny, make it very tiny. All right, so you want to do it rapidly. And we call this a swish pattern, but it's also, there's like 4 different NLP techniques that are kind of combined here. So shrink it down, throw it behind you, shrink it down, throw it behind you, whichever direction works the best for you. Now, another technique that I did at the time when I was trying to get over my ex-wife was, well, I don't want to not be her friend, because she's a good person. So then I thought of women who I used to be in love with and who I'm just friends with now. And there was a whole kind of a little gallery to my left. And again, I'm doing this mirror image reverse thing so that it makes sense for your unconscious mind. So your left, try this. Notice if there's anybody who you used to be in love with or used to have a crush on, who now you're just friends with, and you're like, yeah, that really wasn't meant to work. I don't see what I saw in them at the time, but they're a good person. They're just not right for me, right? Which is, I think, is a positive shift, right? And I just had a little gallery of women who I used to have mad crushes all the time on women who were not interested in me, right? And I didn't realize that women and men have different strategies of attraction, and that's a whole other course. But to realize that, it's, and a lot of women seem to be fine. Like they'll have a crush on a guy, but he's not into them. Like, oh, okay, and they just, they're friends. That's fine. For guys, it's somewhat different. So just try this. Take that person and just shrink them down and put them in a gallery of friends, former crushes who are now friends, and see if that helps, if that's a more helpful response. So you have several choices, and the other piece with this, if you get stuck in this longing for that person, or longing for the relationship, or longing for the dream you had that it was going to be wonderful and it didn't turn out to be wonderful, there's so many things you can do. You can roll your eyes. You can chant, why does it work out better than I can possibly imagine? You can focus on the breath. So part of the process is interrupting the pattern, doing something different. Whenever you think of that person and start kind of descending into that loop, that pattern, that feeling of, oh, I'll never meet anybody better, just practice all these different tools and techniques, because whatever you do that's different is different, and will break the pattern, right? But this is very powerful. Take the picture, shrink it down, slam it behind you. Take the picture, shrink it down, toss it behind you, tiny, way in the distance. Or take the picture, make it smaller, and move it over to a gallery of, former crushes who are now friends, or former crushes who you've even just lost track of, right? And I find the shrinking it down and getting it off of the center has been the most powerful tool for me. Now, I'm not working with you one-on-one, so I don't know if you may be wired differently. Some people, it's more of a feeling. And, notice if the feeling, maybe you don't get pictures, right? This is a very visual technique. And most people do make pictures, they just happen so quickly, they're not consciously aware of them. So maybe you have a feeling, one woman I worked with had this feeling right here in her solar plexus. And it was dark and it was spiky, kind of almost like these COVID-19 pictures you see of this spiky ball, right? And I said to her, well, what happens if you make it smaller? And for her, that made it more intense. So I was like, why not let's make it bigger, make it big and fluffy. So ultimately, what you have to be able to notice how you're causing yourself to feel this painful, negative emotion, because you are creating it. That's the beauty of these techniques, is you're in charge. You are creating the reality as you go. And for all of us, 99.999% of us, we're not conscious of the fact that we're making pictures, we're moving feelings around kind of in a spatial area in our awareness. And that, to me, is where these techniques give me power, so that at this point, every day, it's an amazing journey. I've been at this since literally 2000, so it's been 21 years since I've been practicing these techniques, and it took me a while to make them habitual. And to this day, I still pretty much throughout the day, any negative thought, any negative pattern comes up, any longing for a past lover, I just count to 20, focus on my breath, and chant out loud, why does this work out better than I can possibly imagine? 2, why does this work out better than I can possibly imagine? 3, why does this work out better than I can possibly imagine? So I change my self-talk, I focus on my breath, I interrupt the pattern, I'll roll my eyes in one direction or the other, I will shrink the person that I'm thinking of down. In fact, I just got a text the other day from a woman I was desperately in love with, and she broke up with me because she just didn't have time to be in a relationship, she said, and broke my heart, but we're friends. And I'm so glad I use these techniques, because she's a wonderful person, just not the right person for me. So that's the other thing. Why does this work out better than I could possibly imagine? And you can say, he's not the right person for me, or she's not the right person for me, or they're not the right people for me. I don't know what your situation is. So I brought my whiteboard down here, and I have no idea if any of these markers work. So I'm just going to kind of give you a visual. So you're looking at there. So I've got to go down here to make it to your left. So you may have, oh, it works. Look at that. You may have a visual picture. What you want to do is shrink it down so it's a tiny dot. So it's, just a tiny little dot. See if I'm in the way of the camera so I don't fall in the river here. So it's just a tiny dot, and then you can make it, even smaller down to that lower corner, right? So imagine you have an internal whiteboard, and that picture of that person is there. Bring it down. And you want to do it rapidly. Just bring it down. We call it a swish pattern. Just shrink it down. Right? Just picture, shrink it down. Picture, shrink it down. Picture, shrink it down. Picture, shrink it down. So that, hopefully in a fairly short amount of time, explains the stuff that I was going to explain in the video that somehow didn't make it into the course. So hopefully that's helpful. Please feel free to email me. You can reach me at mark@markshepard.com. I love getting questions from people who actually go through the course. I cannot tell you how many people have purchased this course and no one has ever noticed that I was missing a key piece. So that's sad to me, but I'm so glad that Caroline found this and emailed me and said, hey, it seems like there's something missing, because that is such a gift. Because my biggest challenge is I have all these tools and techniques, but you can lead a horse to water, you can't make a horse drink, right? People are often so committed to their problem that they won't actually do the work to let it go. And there's so many amazing people waiting for you to get over this other person so that you can get on with your life and get to the intersection of time and energy and space where you're going to meet maybe not even just one amazing person, but amazing people that you're like, wow, I could be happy with this person or that person or that person, or maybe all of them. You know, we don't have any old-fashioned rules anymore. You can love whoever you want, and you can love someone even if a relationship doesn't go where you originally thought it was supposed to go. You can find love. You can find joy. You can find a purpose-filled life where every day is a miracle, and you look out of your little window through your eyes into a world that is filled with opportunities, filled with joy, filled with people who you were meant to get to know. If only you could get this other person off of your mental movie screen. Be done with it. And maybe moving it to the other side, you know, try different sides, put it way behind you. You can even shoot it out to the future. Don't recommend that, but put it in the past, put it behind you, drop it to this side or that side, shrink it down, put it in a gallery, their picture in your mind in a gallery of former lovers, former crushes who are now friends. Play with this and let me know how it works for you. And thank you so much to all of you who haven't emailed me, but who actually have gone through the course and who are finding hope and purpose in your life. It matters so much to me that somehow I share this with as many people as possible. So thank you. Peace, grooviness, over and out. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know. Boom.